Hey people, what is going on? I'm the Broken Puppet and welcome back to tutorials. Today I'm going to be doing these really cool old school like heart and rose designs. The sort of things that are really good for everyone, boys, girls, doesn't matter what, they look really cool on everyone. I'm going to be doing 5 of these, so 5 different variations. All very different, just to give you guys an idea of what you can do and what you know, well, not say what you can't do, but pretty much what you can do. So yeah, I'm going to start off with, on iPad Pro in Procreate, create a few different layers. I'm going to start off with a sketch and technical pencil. You can do this on paper as well, just copy what I do on here on paper. You know, it doesn't matter what medium you're using, it's all the exact same thing. I'm going to sketch in a circle. I'm going to sketch in another circle. I'm going to sketch in a little line down from the middle. And from the end, curve up to the edge of the circle, just there and just there. You know, and do it right and you get yourself a fairly even love heart. You know, a real simple way to build it up. So once you've got your love heart, I'm going to sketch out outline, so you've got the outline. Don't worry about being neat at this stage, you know, we're just sketching everything in. And once you've got that, we're going to create a secondary line. So you're going to mimic that circle shape just all the way around. Keep it about the same sort of distance, you know, so you've got the same kind of gap the whole way in between these kind of bits. All the way around the edge. At the bottom, where this line comes down, I'm going to create one curve just like this. Then around the edge we're going to create semicircles, curving about the same sort of height, the same distance. So just the same kind of semicircle, repeating all around the whole thing. I never sort of bother about getting the exact same number, but if you want to always do the symmetry tool and get the exact same number around the outside, I don't really feel it's necessary, but it's completely up to you if you want to do that. So once you've got that done, you've got the idea of where the rose is going to go. So the rose is going to be like a stem. When it curves this up, it's going to come through the centre of the heart, it's going to cut through it and appear out on the other side. So you're going to create these two curves like this. Bit of a teardrop. And when you get to the centre bit, we're going to create this line curving like this. A little line coming up and a line curving out. So it's basically cutting in like a little kind of like slit into the heart. Off the side bit here, I'm just going to create these little line off the side. I'm going to do like sort of circle just to begin with. It's going to be like a leaf in that kind of area, I think. So the leaf's going to kind of come there. And this is going to come up and basically you're going to have a big nice rose behind this. You know, about the same sort of size as what the heart is. You know, I want to have the same kind of impact. So I'm going to do 2 circles here. I'm going to do one for the centre bud and the other one for about the height of the petals. Now where you've got the centre bud here, I'm going to do this line, cutting through the middle, like so. Loop them around, just like that. Off of here, I'm going to create these ones. A little bit wavy, they're not going to be dead perfect straight. Just like this. I'm going to create this loop in the centre, so you've got a bit of semicircle just there. Then we're going to create 1 semicircle, 2 semicircle, and 1 on top. Following roughly around that same sort of shape of that, we're going to create this circle now. Pretty much where we sort of sketched in the first bit for the bud. Just to kind of get those outline parts just there where we want them. Now across this top bit, I'm going to curve this line up, coming up to about the centre part, and curve this back around like so. It's going to create our first kind of petal. After this, I'm going to create a second one. Off here, I'm going to create a third. And around here, I'm going to create a 4th. And this one come around here, create like a 5th. You know, so quite a few more petals than I sort of normally do. I just want quite a few around this, will make nice and busy. I'm going to bring off a couple of lines just like this. Sort of circular shapes. Just get an idea of where I want to put some leaves around the outside. I want a lot of leaves around this. You know, I feel like the more busier this one's going to be, the better it's going to be. Sometimes I like to have just maybe a couple of leaves. Sometimes, you know, lots of leaves. In this case, I think a lot of leaves is going to be cool. Yeah, I like that. So you see it's got a really nice kind of sort of vibe to it now. It's looking like this. So when I got this stage, I'm going to go into black. I'm going to go to calligraphy to start with, monoline. I really like this pen. It just gives like a nice even line. So if you're kind of using like a Unipin liner or something like that on paper, it's the same kind of effect really. I'm going to create a layer above this now, you know, because obviously I don't want to go over the same sort of layer. If you want to get this heart perfectly symmetric, what you can do, I'll show you. Click up here, click Canvas, Drawing Guide, Edit Drawing Guide. And down here you're going to see this little button here, it's got symmetry on it. Just click on symmetry. And then what you want to do, you've got a green dot and a blue dot. Put the blue dot on that center line through the heart. Click the green one and just turn it until you kind of get that center line of wherever the heart is. And now when you do it, it's going to draw both sides at the same time and you can get that perfectly symmetric. It just makes it nice and easy to do it. So if you go like that, you've got your perfect heart shape in there. And your secondary line, just like that. You've got a secondary line. It's just an easy way of doing it if you want to do it that way. You don't have to. You know, I mean, the way we sketched it was fairly symmetric anyway, so this way just kind of speeds things up. Obviously, if you're doing it on paper, you don't really have that option. But it's not an exact sort of, you know, needed component of it, so. I'm going to start sketching in these semicircles now. Going to try and get this nice kind of similar, you know, same kind of hand motion going, so kind of get them nice and even. You know, I'm not worried about getting them exactly 100% dead even, just as long as they're roughly the same. I'm happy with that. But feel free to get them as close as you want. And the center one I might make this a little bit different, so I might go like that for the center one. Quite like that. I don't normally do that. Or should I just go like a nice big semicircle? No, I quite like that with a point. I'm going to go for that point. There we go. Inside each one of these, I'm just going to mimic the shape, just smaller. So just create like a secondary shape inside. So you leave this little white highlight. That's the that's your overall aim of doing this. Just keep whipping these in around here. Don't worry about going the same speed as me. I've had a lot of practice. Or if you go faster than me, then just like slow down a bit. You know. So yeah, you got a pretty cool heart in there now. So I'm just going to click up here, click on this, and where it's got drawing assist, I'm just going to turn it off. And that's basically going to stop it doing the symmetry now. So I don't want the symmetry the whole way through it. Just going to whip in that line just there. So now what I'm going to do is create a secondary layer. It's going to make it easier now because I can draw the rows over the top and just rub out the bits I don't need. So I'm going to bring in this line just down here. I'm going to curve up here. And now when we get up here, I'm going to create a few sort of thorns. So we're going to curve up. I'm going to create this one coming out. It's going to come back. If I turn this transparency, then you can see a bit more clearly. So you see you've got this little spike here, just to create a little thorn. I don't want loads of these, just a few. So I'm going to create maybe one just here. This leaf is going to curve out, so I've got this similar to the thorn, just a bit kind of longer, creating that kind of leaf effect. Maybe one more thorn just there. Don't want to go too crazy with them. And down here, this was just a teardrop shape. When we get to the edge here, I might create a little curve outside like that. Just really kind of classic old school way of doing it. On the edge here now, I'm going to create this loop up, loop down. So you create this little loop on the top. And from here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do it the same side, on the same on the other side now. Be careful when you're sort of doing it zoomed in. Sometimes you end up going too wide or too thin. See how this looks. Yeah, see, I feel like I've gone too wide on this. I'm cutting out too much of that circle now, so I can go back and make it a touch bit thinner. Yeah, prefer that. You don't lose too much of the, obviously too much of the heart shape, because you want to be able to see what it is. So it's going to turn the transparency to sketch, just so it's everything nice and clearly. And I'm just going to come up here and just go over the same part of the rows we just done, so just making that line a bit more kind of wavy than it was. Let's get these lines in here. Get that curve in the middle. Get those loops we done in the center. Get that first petal just up there. And just keep building it up, you know, section by section. So there we go, so that's the first part of the rose done. Curve that line down there. Curve this line up here. Just like that. So you've got that really kind of cool rose at the top now. And each one of these leaves, we're going to do the same kind of principle as what we've done this one, just here, except for the small ones. So I'm going to bring in 2 lines coming out like this. Create that little loop at the top first. And just start bringing your loops down. Don't worry about getting the exact same amount of, you know, loops in each one of them. Like this one I'm going to have 4 there because it kind of fits nicely. You just want to get like a nice kind of height to them. There we go. And these little ones just on the side here, I'm going to bring this line curving outwards and curve back like that. Just to create 2 variations of different leaves inside it. Repeat this for each one of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and a hint of the 4th one just there. Again, just a little one on that side. Just keep repeating that same sort of motion, you know, it's quite therapeutic once you kind of get the hang of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I'm counting these, it's clear what I'm doing. So I'm going to put 1 there. I like to have at least one section where you have, say, like 2 overlapping. It just kind of breaks up the routine of the shape of them. Because sometimes if you have the same kind of format, they all look a bit kind of repetitive, a bit kind of copy and pasted, which I'm not really a fan of. So by just having one that, say, overlaps, you know, kind of like breaks up that sort of shape of them. See, just like that, it just kind of like changes it up. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See a little hint of that one behind now. So now you've got that done, I'm going to go back down to the heart we done. I'm going to go with my razor tool. I'm just going to select like a hard airbrush or something. And basically everywhere it kind of sits underneath the petals, I'm going to erase. Just make sure you can go drawing assist on because it'll do both sides at the same time otherwise. So yeah, I'm just going to rub it out. Just over that area. Just under there. And just there. So now when we turn this up, and click off that sketch in, we got a nice kind of outline all kind of built up for us. So now I've got done, I'm just going to merge these 2 together. So just click on the top one, click merge down, and it basically just merged the layer that's underneath it. You know, it's just a real simple way of doing that. Click on it, I'm going to go reference, and just create a layer underneath. We're going to do this for the shading. I like to use the spray paint tool, medium nozzle. This is on everyone's Procreate, you know, I haven't modified it at all, it's just the exact same standard one that comes with it, just so you guys can use the exact same one I do. So click selection up here, click automatic down here, and now when you click it, it's going to select inside the lines. If there's any gaps, it's going to select outside that, and just click and drag it and you'll see it's got selection threshold at the top. Just make sure that percentage number is kind of in the high 90s. I usually put about 95. If you have it on 95, it just saves getting this annoying white edge you get around the outside if it's too low. If you don't know what I mean, don't worry about it. If you know what I mean, you realise how annoying it is, and it's just a simple solution for getting rid of it. I get asked about that 100 times a day. So now I'm just going to select areas that I want, say, pitch black to begin with. And then I just go through section by section, then bit by bit. So I know what those bits, make sure I'm a separate layer. I'm just going to bold these in black, put those bits on the outside. I'm going to select these little petal areas just here. Make sure it's about the right height. I don't want it pitch black, but I want this almost black. I'm going to shrink this down just ever so slightly. For these, I want to basically do this effect. So I'm basically getting like black from one side like this, and leaving a little highlight just on the side. It's a very old school kind of way of doing it. And it just looks really cool in the end. Just doing that in all of them. I like to put the highlight section as the section that's kind of like facing the top, if you get what I mean by that. And once I've got that done, I'm going to select these inside parts of these leaves on the outside. Just click, 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 click. And we go best to put a bit of black just down the centre of each one of these. So I'm going to start from the bottom. Just flick a little bit just up that stem. So black across the bottom, just up that stem. Then select this one down here. So a bit of black from the bottom, and again just flick that up just like that. Same on this one just here. Black from the bottom, flicking up. I'm going to click on the stem, just a few little areas. I just want a bit of black just on the tip and the edge. So just the top and bottom, just there and there. Nothing crazy. Then I'm going to select these petals just here, and I'm going to have a little bit of black just coming from the inside part of them. Just fading up, just like this. Real simple, real effective. Let's get it on those two just there as well. That's the inside bit, it's up to you. You can have it sort of coloured in or black. If you have it sort of black, you can kind of go like that sort of effect. Which is pretty cool, but it makes the whole thing fairly dark, which I don't particularly want, so I'm not going to have too much black on it. I might just put a bit of a hint of black just in the centre. I like that. That'll do for me. Inside the heart, not too crazy, I just want maybe a little bit just around the edge. Just like so. And then if we click freehand. I didn't need to do it for this section just here, but this part here I would. So basically where we've got this little slice, I want just a little bit black just from underneath that. Just a hint, nothing crazy. And that'll do there. And then what I might do lastly, I'm going to use the calligraphy pen for this. Where I've got this kind of black effect in this heart bit, I'm going to carry this effect on by doing it in this part of the rose. It's going to bring a bit of symmetry to the design, which should be quite nice. Yeah, I like that. See, it just kind of brings a bit of similarity between the two objects. You know, you don't want too much, but a little hint of it is really nice. So I'm going to go underneath now. I'm going to create a colour layer. So I'm going to start off with the heart, which obviously I'm going to want in red. So I'm just going to do a spray paint. And I'm going to have it nice and bold, solid reds. You know, I want it like a nice, bold, impact, you know, colour for that. These parts running outside, I already know that I'm going to want these in yellow. So I'm going to select all these bits just around here. Click, 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 click. At the same time I might just click these areas just here because I know I want the tip of the leaves to be yellow as well. So now that I'm going to set this really nice kind of golden yellow You can see whereabouts it is on my colour wheel. If you go onto my Instagram or on Facebook as well, sort of search for the archives, you can see where my colour palette is as well. So you guys can just kind of click and paste and copy my colours into there if you want. Then you get the exact same colours I'm using. So I select that. I'm going to get like a little bit of a brown tone now, just across here, and a little bit just there. Nothing much, I just want to get like a little bit of a kind of sort of shadow area. And again, a little bit of a lighter version. I'm just going to put that on those two sides just there. You know, just a very small hint of a highlight. That's basically what I want just in there. Now I've got that done, I'm going to select here. I'm going to select, well, I'll just start off with here to begin with. I'm going to get green. Just throughout that. I'm going to shift to the yellow as well, because obviously I want the stem bit just through them yellow. But I'm going to colour in these leaves to begin with. I'm basically selecting all the areas that I know that I want to colour in certain colours, and then at the end, the ones I'm not too sure, I will generally realise by the end of it. You know, having these colours in here kind of helps you decide on those colours. Like this rose, I haven't quite decided what colour I want to do this rose just yet. You know, I may go red with it, I may not. But once I put in this green, it'll give me a better idea of what colour I want to go for. So I'm going to select green to begin with. I'm just going to get this nice kind of green just kind of fading up into these. Now you can go all the way if you want, you can just bold them in like that if you want, but I'm liking how this kind of fade is looking on the edge. So like I said, I'm just going to select these little areas just here. Do these in yellow. Oops. Selecting too much in one thing just there. So select that. I might also do these bits just here, yellow as well. Just so I'm sticking with the same kind of colour palette for it. This bottom bit down here, I'm going to go red. And now I can kind of decide what kind of colour I want to do that rose. You know, if you're doing it on Procreate, a good way of doing it is just kind of select everything to get an idea to begin with. Just go over to reds, say first, and you can see that's how it kind of looks red. And if you click up here, you've got hue and saturation. Click on this, and then what you can do is just drag through this, and you can see what other colours will look like. So I'm looking at, turn this brightness up. So imagine that sort of like kind of yellow, sort of pinkish kind of tone, a light kind of bluish. So I'm looking at it, and I think I quite like the reds. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go for reds, but I'm going to put like pinkish kind of sort of tone just on the outside edges of bits. I start with here, shrink this down a touch. And what this is going to do is basically going to keep it similar to the heart, but this pink's going to separate it so it feels different. Because I feel if it's just red, it's going to be too similar to the heart, which we don't want. So we're just having this bit of pink just around the outside. We'll break that up and separate it, just like so. A little bit just through the centre of each one of those. And boom, that's how you do the first one. That's one heart down. I'm just going to click on this, combine down, combine down. I'm going to drag this one over here for a sec, just so it's out of the way, and turn that off. So that's one down. So now we've got one down, we can sort of work out what we're going to do for the other ones. So I'm going to click up here, let's go dark red again, going to sketch them in. So let's create a new layout, like so. For the next one I might do a bit of a classic, so I'm going to go drawing guide. Just shift this around, just for the symmetry, just put in a heart. I'm going to basically go really kind of sort of neat with this sort of heart. Just click on, sorry I clicked on the wrong one, draw and assist. Going to sketch in two sort of circles to begin with. And then from down I want to go fairly straight. So it's going to be a very different kind of heart shape to what we've done before. Just like so. Just going to turn that transparency down. create a new one on top, draw an assist, and just go around the edge now. So we've got our heart design the way we want it. You know, sometimes changing the shape of the heart can be a massive difference. So I said this one, we're going to go like this, get rid of that. So we've got this kind of heart shape. And I'm going to create 2 banners across it, I think. So I'm going to bring in this curved line like this. Another one curved the other way. So it's kind of like an S curve. So you basically curve like this to a point, and then you curve off the edge and you create another one. It's going to create like one banner bit, and then in here I'm going to have another one. I feel like the classic old school. If you done like I said, mum and dad sort of one or something. You can come around there and just off the edge, just kind of curve it, create a little V-shaped flick. You know, really classic, kind of old school. And yeah, this one would be like, sort of like say mum and dad or something, or you create any kind of words you know you want really. For this one, I'm then going to do 2 smaller roses, so rather than do the big ones, I'm going to have a circle here, circle around it, and then up here maybe on this side, circle here, circle around it. And then in the background, yeah, it's fairly even. Just circle like this. I'm going to have these sort of spikes coming down, just kind of illuminate it and make it look really cool. So I'm going to come back down to here, the circle. So this inner circle here, I'm going to create this loop, curve around, and off this I'm going to create these loops coming around it. Join up the sides just like so. Around the edge, I'm going to go a bit of a wavy line to create a petal. I'm going to do that for each one of these, so it's just going to curve around. And this one you might fit about 3. I'm going to throw a few little flick lines just on the inside, just like so. The leaves are going to be quite simple. I'm going to curve these out to a point. Create say 3 there. Maybe 1 there. I'm going to do the same sort of principle on the other side, so I'm going to create this curve, loop it around, create this bumpy edge coming around, circle around that outside edge, and then the petals, get to the top, create like a wave, get to the top, create a wavy edge, like so. So fill that in there, 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3. Just make it a little bit different, so you've got different numbers on either side. Now you can have the same numbers, but I like to make them a bit different. So now where you've got this circle, I'm basically going to create these kind of lines. About the same distance apart, flicking inwards from that circle shape. And this is basically going to fit in everywhere where there's nothing kind of like underneath. Just like so. I like that. Then inside you'll have, as I said, like, mum and dad, so what I would do for this is block a little section just like this. Mimic the outside shape, just so you've got a bit of space from the edge. Divide it into 3 because it's 3-letter words. 1, 2, 3. And then fit your letters inside that. So obviously this one will be mum, so that'd be M, U, M. And by matching it up onto the lines, you kind of get the same sort of size for the letters. And then the dad, same. Might put a little line just inside the letters, just kind of give it a bit of an old school kind of flair to it. D, A, D. Same on the top and bottom, like I said, just do a few little lines. Just give a bit of an old school flair. And then once we've got that done, we can get our pen out and basically scrape everything now, make it all nice and neat. So I'm going to go to the calligraphy monoline. Going to go black. Go like this. So just putting everything we've got in here. So Get those 2 lines for that heart shape down the bottom. Ooh. Bit bold than what I was planning on going with it, but actually looks really cool, super bold, so I'm going to stick with that actually. So we've got the heart in there, we've got a banner shape. Sometimes, you know, just a line width can really change a design. Like, I plan on doing this much thinner, but looking at super bold, I really like this super bold. No, but it's always worth playing around to experiment. You never know which ones are going to work and which ones ain't. You know, sometimes the best idea in your head you put on paper doesn't look right, and sometimes the worst idea just works. But you're never going to figure it out until you experiment. So just keep whipping in these lines, get them in there. Just get these all around. The only lines I'm probably going to do differently, and that's when I get those little sunburst lines. I probably use the technical pen so I can get like a nice little line flick on the edge of them. And I might go a bit thinner with the mum, I'm not too sure yet. I'll see when it finished doing all these letters. Sometimes letters look nice and bold, sometimes they look nice a little bit thinner. I quite like that. D-A D. Mum, Dad. So yeah, I'm just going to click up in here now. I'm going to go to the inking technical pen. So you can get this nice little flick, which is kind of what I want on this. So just coming down from that line, just flick these lines down. Try to get them nice and even if you can. The more even they are, the better it'll be. But don't beat yourself up if they're not perfect. Yeah, there are little shortcuts you can do for this, but I don't use too many shortcuts. Kind of takes the fun out of it sometimes. I think that's all the sunburst bits. So I'm going to turn that sketching layers off now. I'm going to come down to the rows. And again, I'm going to put a few little flick lines just inside here. You can do these with a bold line if you want. I just quite like how it looks with these little flicks. Looks a bit kind of graphic almost. So yeah, it's got a few little flicks in there. But yeah, I'm really liking that. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click reference, go underneath, and now we do our shading. So I'm going to go back to the spray paint tool we've done before. You can use whatever you want, airbrush, any kind of tool. It's just my favourite brush to use. I'm going to select the outside leaves to begin with. It's going to get black coming up from the bottom like this. Nice bit of pure black in there for that. Use these outside banner bits just on that bottom edge, just there and there. And just in the centre bit, I might get a little bit from there, a little bit from there. I might just put a tiny bit just in these petals, just there. Just a bit of a hint basically kind of behind that circle edge. Just like that. I like that. So I'm going to create another layer underneath now. This one's going to be for the colour. And I'm probably going to stick the same kind of colours as what we've done for the first one, through all of them. Just so there's a bit of symmetry of the whole thing. So I'm going to go a nice bold red for the heart. I'm going to put the red in the rose, and then I'm going to put a little pink edge, so just colour it in red to begin with. Select these bits here, just get a nice kind of sort of pink tone. Just put that pink edge around there. Pink edge just around there. And then do the same on the leaves. I'll select these two to begin with, just so I can get up to the edge without going over the other leaves. And then do the other two. That's the handy thing with a selection tool, because it keeps it within the area, it just avoids you like sort of working over into other areas, which you don't want. So now it's going to go here, go yellow. Yellow in there. Select these leaves. Going to get that same green we've done on the other one, so this kind of sort of nice darkish kind of green. Very traditional. And then these bits here, I'm going to do a slightly different colour. I want to kind of get me caramel kind of parchment sort of tone. I'm basically going to go either side like this. Do the same on these bits. Then these inside bits. Nice, give you a little bit of a purple tone so it feels a bit shadowy. Then I might just put the same purple just inside these parts, just there, just to kind of give a bit of continuity between it all. And then we have that one. That's number 2 done. Turn that drawing guide off. I really like that. I mean, you can put a bit of colour in the background for the sunburst if you want. I like how it looks like that. I don't feel like it needs it. But if you was going to do that, just show you how to do it. So you select like the yellow, for instance. Kind of fill that into the gap. And you can go over the edge of lines, but I always prefer to have it within the space. So I'm going to leave mine like that. So same as before, I'm just going to click on these, group them together. Just click the other one on so I can see where that is. So I might put this one up in this corner. Just out of the way. So that is 2 down. So now I'm going to create our 3rd one. So again, just create a new layer on top. I'm going to go sketching to begin with. This one I'm thinking I'm going to have like a heart shape, and I'm going to have like the rose kind of bursting out of it. So 2 circles, bring that line down. And this one I'm going to create a little bit of a curve, so it's going to curve out from that line, around it, just a little bit there. Again, just to kind of make it a slight bit different, you know, I'm not going to make it massively different, just a little bit. Around the edge, I'm going to mimic that line again. Come there, mimic that sort of shape around the edge, coming down like so. So that's going to be the basic idea of it. And what I'm going to do is have a rose on the inside. So I'm going to sketch a circle in this area. And then this area. And I can have a couple of leaves just say maybe coming out of it. But make sure that it leaves in areas that's not going to sort of like take away from the shape of the rose. I mean, if you want to shape of the heart, you know, you want it to be able to read as a heart. So don't sort of particularly go over this area, you know, because that little dip is important. So here, where it's not going to make no difference to the overall sort of shape. So where we've got this inside circle bit, so I'm going to make the bud for this a bit similar to the first one we've done, so I'm going to create this nice kind of loop effect. Getting 2 drops on either side. Let's create a curved line just up here. I'm just curving off for there. I'm going to create this loop on the inside. Bring some lines around the out bit. So that's going to create the base of it. The inside, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 curves for the petals. Get quite a few in there, and I might have, say, a little hint of 1 or 2 in the background as well. And I might have a few little leaves kind of filling up the space. So I basically want to try and fill up the heart with the rose, as well as it kind of come bursting out a little bit. So I might have, say, this petal just here, overlap a little bit, just when the leaves do. And maybe just that one. I don't have too much overlapping. So now we've got this done, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to pen work, and we'll sort of just do it mostly with a pen. So you're about to see clearly what I'm doing. So I'm going to start off with, I start off with the overall shape of the heart, so it kind of encloses everything in, and I leave the little gap. Well, I'll do the hearts first, and I'll do the rose second. So get that sort of shape in there. Shape in here, just join these up. Okay, I'm going to make this outside line. Yeah, what's up my line today? Forgive me, that line's going a bit weird on me. Just keep this line going around, same principle. So keep it about the same distance apart. I'm going to put dots inside this. It's a really kind of classic old school kind of pattern. You've probably seen me do it before, you've seen it in old school designs, you know, it's generally a bit everywhere in tattoo designs. So you have this heart, and then you're going to have like dots. Evenly spaced apart the whole way through. A little bit uneven spaces there, but it's alright, that'll do. So once you've got it done, I'm just going to turn that transparency just down a touch, just so you can see the new black on top. Create another layer, just for the rose. Again, just makes it easier. Just going to create this little loop. I can make these ones a little bit bumpy, so I'm going to put a little bump just in those. On the edge, just where it overlaps a touch. Create those nice curves off there. And create a little loops on the inside. And create a nice curve around the edge just there. Get these bottom parts. So we're just carrying on our kind of sort of circular shape. I'm going to create one little loop just there before I do the petals on the outside. I might add actually, I'm going to add a few inside petals just to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to add a little bump just here for an inside petal bit. For an inside petal bit. And then just here where I said doing these bits, just overlapping that over that line a touch. Let's get that petal just there. So getting quite a few in here. One in the background just there. I basically just want to try and fill up the area, you know, that's what I'm kind of aiming with it. Bring this line out. Going to curve these two like that, so you get these nice two sort of straight edge curves. I'm going to create this little V shape just to the tip of it, just like that. Create a little smaller one on the side just there. I might do the same just on this bit, just there. Oh, that's quite big and chunky as well, which I quite like. So another one here. Try getting roughly about the same sort of size on either side of it. Like that. Gonna get this one. Big leafy bit just in there. And then the other leaves I'm going to have kind of sitting underneath it. Just like so. So I like that, it's got a nice big sort of shape to it. So now we've got that done. Turn off your sketching layer. Go on to the heart. I'm just going to rub out those little areas again, like we've done on the first one we've done. Just where it kind of goes over the rose. Just those little lines we don't need. Just like so. Then turn it up. I'm just going to merge those now so it's just one nice solid layer. I'm going to come in, I'm going to shrink my line now on a much thinner line. I'm going to do some little detail bits. So I'm just going to bring some lines across here. Just repeat it nice and straight. So on the other side, I'm going to match them up either side so I've got the same amount of lines. It's always done, you just basically just keep connecting up to where they are. You can't really go wrong. So just do one side, just keep bringing your lines in. And then from the other side, just match them up. Like so. Let's get these little edges there so they're nice and connected. Just flick your lines in. Just like so, and then boom. Now what I'm going to do as well, I'm just going to create some little secondary lines just for a bit of difference in the rows. Just going to do this on the outside edge, just around there. And I might do it on the outer petals as well. So you're basically just mimicking your shape, leaving a little gap on the outside part. I'm just doing this to give you guys different options so you guys can see what you can do to make it a bit different as well. I like that. It's got a real nice kind of vibe to it. I know I say that a million times a day, but it does look good. I'm happy with it. No wrong with being happy with your own work. Oops. Click on that, just click reference. Go on your other layer so you're not doing it on the same layer. Select these. Just click, 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 click. So we've got all the leaf bits selected. Just like so. I'm going to go down to the spray paint tool. You know, that's my favourite. A bit similar now, it's going to go black. Just on those bottom edge. Like so. I like that. Just a little bit on a few of the inside parts, nothing too crazy. Bit just there, bit just there. Just in that corner. A little bit on that corner just there. And lastly, just there, a bit there. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to click on these bits and just see how this looks in black. Sometimes roses look nice with black in the middle, which I actually really quite like that. Yeah, I'm going to go black on the inside part of that rose. But I might not do in that centre bit. Let's just see how it looks with just these bits. Yeah, I might do that, and then these two bits here. Bit of fade on the outside, yeah, I like that. That will do me. Right, layer underneath now, I'm going to go for colour. Going to select these kind of background areas. Just there, there and there. And that's going to be the solid red, that's going to be the heart. So again, I just sort of just separates that a bit. I'm going to come in. I'm going to select these inside green leaf bits just here. Just the ones with lines through, not the other ones. To begin with, I want these green. And then the ones that haven't got the space, I'm going to see how these look yellow. Yeah, like that yellow, and then I'm going to go for a nice kind of brown, caramelly kind of tone from the bottom coming outwards. A bit similar, I'm going to have this colour kind of coming through this area just here. So I'm going to start off with a yellow. Then a brown colour. And I'm going to have this kind of coming off the edge, so basically anywhere something kind of sits in front of it, a bit of brown just around the edge. A little gap arched in there. And then just go yellow, it's going to get like a little like of a lighter tone. And again, I just want to create a tiny little shine, nothing too crazy. Just say one bit there, one bit there. Those bits in yellow. Then I'm going to come back to the rose now. Just like these inside rose bits. I'm going to go red to begin with. And then again, I'm going to just lighten this up, get that sort of pink tone we've done. And just kind of go around those edges and just bring in a bit of pink, just to kind of separate it from the heart. And don't be afraid of pink, you know, pink's not a girl's colour, you know, it's anyone's, it can be both. You know, up until about 100 years ago, pink was actually the boys' colour. It was considered more strong, and baby blue was considered more dainty, so that's actually the girl's colour. But yeah, during like the 1800s, that was actually the case. So it's going to go red. Going to have to erase a little bit here, like, 'cause it's going to bug me because I missed a little line in there. And just go black, calligraphy. There we go. Just so that's part of the petal. These inside bits. I have yellow. Just like so. I'm going to leave these outside edges white. I quite like how they look white. And lastly, it's going to be that purple. Just on the inside, just there. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's really cool. So we're going to group those together. Just turn on those other ones so I can see where they are. And let's move this one out of the way. This one there, I think. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go on to the ones now. So I think for this one I'm going to go, I had this idea for this cool kind of sort of Sailor Jerry kind of style one. So I'm going to go sketch in, technical pencil, create another layer. Just hide these ones again, just so they're out of the way. Don't need those ones on display while we're trying to draw this one. So this is really kind of cool Sailor Jerry sort of style piece. You basically have a heart to begin with, which is the key theme to this. Like this. And now the Sailor Jerry one has basically got like a little skull on top and some crossbones coming through. So we're going to have that, but then we're going to have a rose in the background. And I'm going to make the skull a little bit more sort of my sort of variation sort of style, so it's a bit like a Sailor Jerry kind of tribute, I guess. So basically, yeah, so sorry I'm drawing this without explaining it. So yeah, we're going to have a little slit through the middle, and then for the bones we're going to have these two lines coming through, like so, and two lines coming through the other side, just so you come a little bit past the heart, but then when you get to the edge you're going to create these little two bumps just either side. Do two little circles and kind of draw around the edge. You kind of get the right sort of thing, and just make the line a bit kind of bumpy rather than perfectly circular. So just like that. The heart we just done the same way. Sorry, I don't know why I was drawing that, not explaining it. So two circles, a line down the middle, like that. So that's going to be the basic heart and crossbones, and then you have the skull, which is going to sit here. And the mouth's going to kind of overlap a little bit, so it's basically looks like it's taking a bite out of the heart, pretty much. So I'm going to do a little circle just here, circle there, and a circle there. So once you've got that done, you can kind of create the basic of the skull. It's a real simple skull, really classic old school. So we're just going to create a bit of a kind of wavy line around here for this one. This side's going to kind of come out. So you're basically just creating around the circle, just kind of making it a bit wavy. So just every time you kind of get to a line, just kind of like bend it around a little bit. You're basically just drawing a bit of a kind of wiggly line around the outside edge. You know, and it just works. You know, it's going to create a little line, just curving around here. And when you get to the bottom bit here, it's going to create these circles. Just create these teeth. This is going to connect up to the eye. This eye is going to curve up here. And I say the Jerry kind of had a sort of wig line that I thought you do like a bit of a sort of straight kind of line here. Bit of line just at the top, just there. Just straighten out the skull a touch. Just like so. So you're basically following that circle round. So you've got the circles there for the teeth, that bit there. And now we've got this done, I want this basically almost be like the bud of the rose. So the rose is going to kind of be upside down with this. So imagine this was like the bud. So I'm going to have this sort of circular shape kind of here. I'm going to have these two side bits coming off. Again, just off the side parts of here. And then I'm going to create these outside petals, nice and bold around the outside. So I'm going to start off with one around this edge, just here. I'm going to create one sort of circular one that's going to come in this kind of gap. Another one that's going to kind of come here. One just here. On the back, I want it to kind of come far enough to kind of cover the skull bit around the back. And then off of that, I'm going to create some lines. And just create some circular bits to work out where we want to put our petals. Now I want this quite busy with the petals again. You know, I think it's just going to make it nice and sort of circular kind of design. So quite a few. All kind of scattered around. Very like that. It's got a nice kind of sort of Sailor Jerry vibe to it. And once we get that done, I'm going to go up, create another layer, black, and back down to the calligraphy monoline. And now we're just going to get everything so you can see everything nice and clearly. Going to turn the line down so it's a bit thinner than the other one. Let's start with, sorry, a little slice through the middle. I'm pretty much going to do everything that's kind of sitting on top to begin with. And then work our way around. So that's the sort of top part, and then the next part's the heart. Well, technically the next part would be the skull, I guess, you know, but I'm working from the heart kind of area first. Get that line right, so it's got the right kind of curve to it. Get those bone edges. Then once we've got the bone, we'll do the skull, and then from the skull we'll do the rose. So pretty much how we sort of drew it for the sketching. We kind of sort of like draw it out in the same kind of order, I guess. It hasn't got to be done that order, it just makes it easier. So I said the inside skull bit, you just kind of make those lines kind of wavy. So very much like my sort of variation of the Sailor Jerry version. So I'm going to get this rose part in there now, so start building these up. Missing out that line I want now. Just keep building up those petals. And it all kind of come together before you know it. And once that's in there, come down, we're going to get the leaves done now. So the leaves, I'm going to bring this curve down, go 1, 2, 3. Bring these lines down, curve down inwards, 1, 2, 3. But don't overlap your lines. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a few of these ones where it's just kind of got this pointy tips going back. And again, I just like that, that just kind of gives a bit of variation to it. Add 2 there just to change the up a touch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I think that will do it for the outline. So I'm going to turn off that sketching layer now. So left of what I call old school line work just there. Create a layer underneath. Click on the line work, just make sure it's set to reference again. Click on your selection tool, automatic. I'm going to start off with the black and grey shading, so I'll start with the outside first. So I'm going to select the leafy bits. Go down to spray paint. And just like I've done before, I'm going to put this nice bit of black just across that bottom. To make a slight variation, when we get these smaller ones, I'm going to have a little bit of black just on the tip of these as well. Just there. Just to change it up. You know, I want to try and make each one a bit different. The eyes and nose, I'm just going to black out. Just going to select these outside petals. I just want a little bit of black just curving off from outside the heart, and this will kind of help the heart sort of stand up as well, which is like a double bonus for it. Bit of black just here on that bottom part of the skull. I'm gonna have a little bit of black in the skull, not much though, just a very little hint. I basically just want a little bit just coming off top of that skull just there. On that cheekbone. There's diffraction just there. Real simple with it, don't go too crazy. Skull and crossbones. You can have like a hint of black, just don't put too much. I want it more kind of grey than I do black, really. On them standing out. Now do it for the black and grey shading. So going underneath, create a colour layer. Select that heart to begin with. Bold that in a nice bold red. Select our outside leaves. Going to go green with these. Nice bold green. And then the smaller ones, I'm going to make a slight different green now, so a bit more kind of khaki kind of green. Just like so. Oops. I'm going to select the bones. It's going to go down. I want to select that kind of sort of that parchment kind of colour, the same sort of colour I used when I've done the banner. Just want a hint of this, just on the edge. Literally nothing crazy, just a hint. And then these little turnover bits in the rows and a little section just down the centre part of the outside leaves. We're going to go for that golden yellow we do. Just like that. So it's shaping up nicely. I might give this skeleton a gold tooth, because why not? So I've got the rose selected now. Now just like we've done before, I'm just going to colour the whole thing in reds, and I'm going to come in and just add that pink onto each one of these. Just to kind of separate it from the heart. Select these bits just here. And then that one just there, there's that tiny little bit just here I missed before. just there. And I really like that. It's got a really nice kind of old, sort of retro kind of vibe to it. So yeah, that's how you do the skull bones version. So now we got that done. I'm just gonna swipe to the side, root those ones together. I'm just gonna shuffle this down to the corner for now. I'm not gonna worry about position it. I'll position it after I've done the last one. That can go there. And now I'm gonna create one more. So I'm gonna go back to the sketching tool, back to the dark reds, new layer. So I'm gonna go drawing guide. Drawing search just to speed this one up. So I want to get nice two big even circles on the outside. Going to curve around just like this. So we've got this nice kind of heart shape. And then what I'm going to do is turn that drone assist off now. Don't need that no more. I'm going to create this wiggly line kind of coming through. Like this. And I'm going to create these little thorns coming through. This has got the rise of the thorn. And I'm going to raise the outside edge, but just here. Like so. So the idea is going to be kind of sort of like a split heart. And then what we're going to do, the inside part, we're going to do this all, but it's going to be all made up of the rows. If you get what I mean. If you don't get what I mean, just wait a second, you'll see. Just get that nice and even, roughly about the centre. Yeah, that's kind of roughly where I want it. So roughly about there. And now what we're going to do, we're going to draw rows on the inside. So we're going to sketch one circle just here. The other circle kind of fitting in that sort of space. Make sure it's within the heart. You can have some little kind of hints of some leafy bits just there. So the idea, we're going to do it, and then the whole heart is going to be basically just this rose. So it'll be a really cool kind of effect. So what I'm going to do is a different effect for one of these. Where we've got this circle, I'm going to cut a line through the bottom part and just curve down. It basically creates like an overturned petal that sits on top. It's just another simple effect you can do. I'm going to create a curved line off, leave this down, just like so. Create a line curving off just here. Create two curves in that bottom part just there. I'm going to create another overturned leaf bit just here. Little curved line just here. This can curve up into a bit of a loop. So it's a bit of a hybrid of all the kind of ones we've just sort of done together. Secondary overturned leaf just on the side. Or overturned petal rather, not leaf. And then around the outside edge, we're just going to create these nice big petals. Inside edge bit here, we're going to do some lines. And this is kind of would go into like the leaves, but the leaves are only going to go up to the edge of that circle. I want to fill this kind of space up just like that. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's got a really cool effect to it. So now we've got that roughly sketched out. We're going to go up, I'm going to go back to the black, back to the calligraphy pen. Make sure I've got that the right kind of size. That's a bit too big for what I want. There we go. And now we're just going to mark this all in. So I'm going to curve this around like this. Curve up there. Curve there. Get these lines in here all nice and smooth. Just curve that around. Give me 2 seconds. Cool. I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to quickly go see my little son. So just carry on putting these lines in. Gonna get this swirling here. And check it out all the way around. There we go. Just keep putting them in there until everything's exactly where it needs to be. I'm really liking this one, I really like this. Actually, like a few of these. I might even tattoo a few of these. That's a good thing with these tutorials. Sometimes they kind of surprise you, because obviously we're kind of sort of time restricted on them. So I like to get the videos done, but I don't like to go on forever for you guys. I like to get in sort of, a good sort of time. Kind of limits what I can do sometimes. But sometimes it surprises you. When you kind of sort of time restricted, you come out with something really cool. So you've got that there. This one just here. Screw my tip in, it's coming off a little bit there. If you find your pen ever starts playing up, always check your tip of your pen. Sometimes it comes a little bit loose. Or at least mine does anyway. Right, I'm going to shrink this down now. Just put in the little line details. Just to make it a little bit special. Just keep flicking these in there. Line by line by line by line. I mean, you find this like repetitive, but it builds up, quicker than you realise. You just keep going with it, and just before you know it, it's there. I don't know. Something about drawing roses. I must have drawn like thousands and thousands of these things. But I always enjoyed doing it. I think every artist, tattooist generally does. It's just the perfect kind of flower. So just work with everything. If in doubt, just add a rose. It's really that simple. Right, I'm gonna add a little line on a few of these inside parts just here. So on the inside of this bud, a little line there. I might not put that on the other ones though. So let's turn off that sketching. So we've got our line work, all looking nice and cool. Click on it, click reference, so that's all set to reference. I'm going to go down to the spray paint tool like I've done for all the other ones. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to go automatic selection, just select the leaves to begin with. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Don't know why I feel the need to make the sound effects, but I do. Right. Shrink this down a touch. Let's get some black coming in from the bottom part of it. Just like so. What I might do is just select these little kind of outside bits that ain't quite connecting. I might go a little bit black, just coming in reverse, so. Oops. No, just a little bit I want. There we go. So you kind of have that kind of effect. And now we've got that, I want to add a few of the shadows on the inside petals. A little blacks on the outside just for a change. So for these ones, I'm going to put black in the middle. And I might put just a hint just across two of the edges. Now this one I'm going to go a bit more stronger with the red if I wanted to, because there's not going to be much red in the background because of the style we're doing for it. I'm going to go black here, but I'm not going to bold it in black like I've done the other rows. Bit of black there. Back on these three a little bit, it's just a little bit in the corners. And lastly a bit down here. So lastly a bit just here actually. So yeah, I really like that. So now what that shading's done, you guessed it, we're going to go into colour. I'm going to go freehand, just to quickly select these areas rather than click on everything. Just select the whole leaf in one go. Basically just draw around the area you want to select, so it's real easy. Just go for the green first, which is going to be in the leaves. And lastly a little bit just down here. So get a green and nose ones to begin with. I might just go a little bit of yellow, just like on the very tip of them. Just kind of give a little bit of kind of a brown effect, which I quite like. Back to the automatic selection now. I'm going to go do the yellow areas, so I want those yellow. And I want this inside bit of red. Nice and bold and strong. And I'm just going to colour in a little bit of red and then just come back and put the pink in afterwards like I've done for the other ones. Obviously you're doing on paper, you do in reverse because you can't really take away the red so easy. But on here you can quite easy, so it just makes it easier. So here I'm just going to put, shrink this size down a touch. Little pink strip just across that bottom. It's going to be a little bit different here though, because rather than going over the top, I'm now going to put a little pink line just through the centre of it, just there. Just to the centre bit. Because we've got the highlight on top, we kind of like creates almost like a little bend in it, so we just kind of sort of try and basically try and tell the story of the bend, you know, without making it too obvious. So just a little hint just here and there does the trick. I'm going to colour in these spaces between these bits. They're going to be pink. So I basically want every area inside this kind of heart shape all coloured in. So yellow inside the little stems inside those leaves. A little bit of purple just inside the centre part. And then those gappy bits we have in the background. Just put them in red. And boom. So I really like it. I really love this kind of illusion of like the stem kind of going in front of the rose. And I'd like to claim originality for that, but I remember seeing someone do it recently. I wish I knew who it was so I could credit them. It wasn't the exact same as this, but they had like a really cool effect. It was like 2 of these. But I really like the negative vibe of it. It just really looks cool. So now we've got it done. I'm just going to open up all these layers and just kind of organise them so it looks like a nice kind of flash sheet. Seeing as we've got them all done now. So I think I'm going to put this one in the centre. Bit of an angle if I can. So I'm going to have that one go there. And then I'm going to go this one a lot. Definitely want this one in this corner. Shrink it down a touch. I can maybe try and adjust the angle of that stem one in a second. Write that down a touch. That's the good thing with doing digital. You can kind of move these around and just find like really kind of cool angles for them. And I think half the time, after fun, like making what's called like a flash sheet like this, is getting everything kind of positioned, which I really like. Down to the last one. Right. Almost got you positioned. Let's get you there. Here's my bone one. A little bit like that. So there we have it, people. That's how you do some really cool heart and rose designs. I hope that's helped you guys. You know, make sure you check my videos, comment, like, subscribe. Is there anything else you guys want to know? Just let me know, and I'll sort of try and do my best to come around and sort of do it. But yeah, I hope those have helped. Make sure you tag me in them as well on social media. I love seeing what you guys do. But for now, people, I am the Broken Puppet, and I will see you next time. Peace.